This is a how-to guide on drawing negative externalities in production, and the example we're going to use here is car manufacturing. So the first thing we need to do is find the marginal private benefit and the marginal private cost. We know, because we're looking at production here, nothing to do with consumption or consumers, so nothing to do with the demand, so we equal the private benefit to the social benefit as well, because we're looking at the production, so we're looking at supply. So the free market equilibrium point is where supply equals demand, private benefit equals private cost. So the price of cars at the moment is PE and the quantity consumed is QE. But we know, because it causes pollution and causes negative problems for society, car manufacturing, there should be maybe less cars produced and consumed by society. So therefore we need to shift the private cost line inwards. So we want there to be less quantity consumed. So at this point we have a marginal social cost to the left, because we know there needs to be less of a quantity in the market. So if we find the socially optimum point, which we know is where the social cost equals the social benefits, so the social cost to society of car manufacturing and the social benefits equal one another, we find the socially optimum point here where they meet. And so the quantity in the market should be QS and the price should be PS here. So it should be a higher price and less quantity supplied. So that is the socially optimum point there, where we would produce and we would consume as well at this point, if we understood the negative effects of car manufacturing. So we're not at that point, we're not at the social optimum point. Remember, we are actually at the free market point because we're looking at the market failure. So the next thing we need to do then is say, well, what's the negative externalities then for being at this point here? Well, all we need to do is go from the free market point up to the social cost line. And this line here, this arrow, is the negative externalities in production. Again, if you were producing at this point, the negative externality line would be here, and the same if you were here, it would be producing here, it would be here. So it is anywhere, but because we are producing at the free market point, this is the negative externalities. So we need to find the deadweight welfare loss. Well, what if we consumed and produced a little bit less of cars? Well, then if we produced here, there'd be a bit less negative externalities, and again, if we shifted our production inwards, a bit less there and a bit less there, until we hit the social optimum point where it would be completely taken out. So what we would do then is shade in this triangle here from the free market point up to the new line, to the social cost line, and we'd shade in this triangle here, and that would show us, that triangle there would show us the deadweight welfare loss. So the point at which at the free market point we are getting a triangle of welfare loss here, because we should be producing much less cars because of the negative externalities of car production. Okay.